This is the KitchensinkWP Podcast, episode 285.
I program my home computer.
We have a server crash, 404 error, page not found, links aren't working, system is crashing, system is crashing, system is crashing.
Your old HTML website, barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website, better than it was before. Better, stronger, faster. We have the technology.
Why, hello, everybody. This is Adam Silver, the host of the KitchensinkWP Podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, first and foremost, upcoming events. We have 3 WordCamps next weekend. WordCamp Brighton in the UK, August 16th through 18th. WordCamp Lehigh, August 17th. And I do mean on getting there one of these days. It's pretty close to me. I've always wanted to go to that camp. I don't know why. I think it's because one of the organizers years ago reached out to me to tell me how to pronounce it. And I just thought that was really cool. And I liked their websites, their designs and stuff. I can't go next weekend because I'll be out of town taking my daughter to college. Oh, man. Crazy. Okay, WordCamp Singapore is the third and final WordCamp next weekend, August 16th and 17th. So there are the 3 WordCamps. Also coming up in September, I'm just going to announce this now, is going to be my next iteration of WordPress Essentials course. It's going to be I think it's going to be September 18th as a launch. 3 weeks, 3 Wednesdays. Check that out. I'll put a link in the show notes so you can sign up there as well. And it'll be live, I think, sometime this week. I'm just debating on 2 different technologies, Webinar Ninja versus Zoom. This time around, I think I'm going to go with Zoom. And yeah, it'll be fun. Good times teaching WordPress Essentials. If you're interested, let me know. And that'll go live this week. So registration to go live, class to start, 3rd week of September. So I'll mention that a few more times. Okay, moving on, segment 1 in the news. 2 things here. JetPack 7.6 was released last week. A bunch of improvements to the plugin's AMP compatibility. There was some other stuff in there as well, but I didn't dive too far in. I don't use JetPack for myself. A couple of my clients do, but I don't. So if you're a JetPack user, 7.6 is out. And also in the news, Backup Speaker, my little side project, which I've mentioned, is still open for pre-sale, and it's looking to launch at the end of the month. So if you're looking to save some money, and you're a speaker, and you're available to be a backup speaker for conferences and whatnot, in any industry really, you might want to head over to backupspeaker.com and sign up for that. Because you'll save some money in the first year. Okay, moving on. Segment 2 the meat and potatoes of this week's show. Hiring a salesperson, because recently I was chatting with a buddy at a co-working space that I frequent here in the area. We got to talking about his new business. He's doing a new co-working space with bars that aren't being used during the day. Kind of interesting. And he was asking me how things were going for me. And I gave him the update on my staffing situation, adding new people, losing somebody, etc. And then the conversation, we ended up talking about sales, about how he's trying to get more people on his side of things to sign up for his service, and I'm trying to get more sales as well, technically. And we, oddly enough, both suggested to each other hiring a salesperson to find leads for the type of work we're looking for. Now, this isn't the first time I've thought about it. As a matter of fact, I've interviewed someone a couple years back, about 4 or 5 years ago, when I was back in Southern California, but that person wanted a guaranteed level of money, like a flat rate salary versus commission. And we'll talk about that in a minute here, but that wasn't going to happen, not then. And it may not even happen now. But so I've spoken about sales in past episodes of this podcast. Back on episode 109, 4 ways to find clients. 117, red flags when outsourcing. It's kind of a salesy kind of thing, I guess. Episode 160, doing the sales hustle. And then episode 235, most recently, what a sales page needs. But now the idea has been in the back of my mind again, because another friend of mine most recently, literally these conversations happened within 10 days apart of each other, also at the same co-working space. He's been looking for work, and he's a natural sales guy, in my opinion. And he has a knowledge base that I think is valuable to me in a vertical, in a niche, if you will, that I think could work for building websites and for what we do here over at Concierge, at my agency side of things. So the issue here is he wouldn't be able to sell customized work, in my opinion. Rather, the key would have a productized service, packages, if you will, the minimum viable product, because that's the low-hanging fruit of a productized service versus custom work. He doesn't know enough about web development to know what we can do on a larger scale on e-commerce, on learning management systems, membership sites. But if you have a basic, what we call the brochure site, it'd be a great way to go out, is have somebody who knows a specific area, knows what that type of industry needs, come up with a 2 to 3 page site or a single page site with some supporting documentation, like, maybe 1 or 2 other pages technically, but a single page could really work here. So in doing research, how to approach hiring somebody, I came up with 5 things to plan for. I want to share with you right now. So here are the 5 things that you should consider when you might want to hire a salesperson. Number 1, define what you're looking for in the person and be really specific. You want someone who has that competitive spirit, who's easy to coach and is a quick learner, can tolerate rejection because they're going to get a lot of no's, right? There's all those, the old saying, 10 no's to the yes or 100 no's. I don't know what it is, but there's going to be a lot of rejection. They need to be flexible. They need to stay positive and motivated, okay? The second thing to take in mind here is training. How are you going to teach them about what they're selling? Are you going to teach them in person? You can teach them online, send them to a resource that you might create. Are they going to listen into a sales call that you might make on your own? So you want to be sure to explain your sales process very clearly, very, very clearly, okay? Third thing to take in mind here, this is possibly one of the most important things, for them at least, for the salesperson, is the compensation and frequency of compensation. So there are a few options here. Commission, a pure commission, maybe a draw, and I think the draw is defined best as they get a base rate no matter what they do, unless they make more than that, and then they get the commission instead of the base rate. So, and then also, or could they be salaried? And for me, salaried is not so much going to work really. Just a matter of I don't think that works in my business model currently. And then maybe a bonus structure if any goal is met. If they're doing any upsells, if they sell so many things, maybe maintenance packages could be the bonus structure as well. So somebody consider compensation and how frequency. How frequent are you going to sell that? Provide that. Is it going to be weekly, bi-weekly, monthly? So you want to make sure that is completely clear and upfront. Okay, number 4 is goals. You need to set goals, and you need to be really realistic in these and review them and adjust them fairly. When I say adjust them, you want to adjust them fairly, not in a negative way, because you don't want to just benefit you as the owner. You want to make sure that you are fair and an honest, I believe, an honest and ethical owner, and you're going to pay your people well for the work that they have provided. We've all heard stories about companies that change the commission structure mid-month or whatever, and I've worked for companies that have done that in the past. It's just not cool. So make sure you set realistic goals and adjust them accordingly. So sit down with them and say, hey, here's what the goal is. You can put a stretch goal on there. Maybe goes back to the compensation and accelerator. If they hit this major goal, fantastic. And possibly if it's not a productized service part of it, maybe it's a referral to a higher end customized package. Maybe that's a separate type of percentage that they bring in. If they bring in a great hot lead for a $10,000 project or higher, work that out as well. But have the goals, be realistic, have them reviewed, and adjust them as needed. Okay. And number 5, trust your gut. Simple as that. If you are considering somebody and they look great on paper and they come in based on referral and something isn't right when you meet them in person, because you have to really meet these people. Well, I guess you don't have to, but it depends on the type of business you have the salesperson go out. I want to meet the person in person, in the flesh, if you will. You got to trust your gut. It's your business. You know it the best. You know the job that they need to do for you. So you want to make sure it's a right fit. And conventional advice here may not apply. So stick with your gut, your instinct, and make sure to do what's best for you. So there you have it. So 5 things there. Number 1, define what you're looking for. Be specific. Training, how you're going to handle it so they know what they're doing and what they're selling. Compensation, how are you going to pay them? How frequent? What type of compensation? Commission, draw, salaried, etc. Bonuses. And then goals, be realistic, and then trust your gut. So there you have it. And I'm waiting to hear back. I did reach out to my buddy who's looking for work, who has a skill set, who I think could do great in this, and we can really make some money together. I really do believe that. So, okay, moving on. Segment 3, tip and tool of the week. This week's tip is it's a tool, actually. It's a piece of software. It's a cloud-based service. It's called Wireframe.cc. It is for doing wireframes. And I've talked about, I think, this in the past, about doing some type of mock-ups. I've used different things over the years. I was looking for something, again, for the wireframes for backup speaker, and there's a free level and a paid level, and there's a 7-day trial. So I did the 7-day free trial, and it's pretty cool. It can be really basic if you want it to be. You can share via a URL. You can export on the pro level. You can export PDFs or PNGs. So I'm doing the 7-day free trial to have a little bit more depth to it. Check it out over at wireframe.cc. I have no connection to them at all, just using it, and it looks pretty cool. So I may try another one as well. I may try Sketch. There's a 30-day trial for that. That's an actually app that I downloaded for my Mac. So there you go. And like I said, Backup Speaker is coming along, and it's still open for early bird registration. So there you have it. Okay, let me wrap it up. If you have any questions, go ahead and send it in via email, adam@KitchensinkWP.com, or use that SpeakPipe function of the website. And for those who don't know, SpeakPipe is a service that you can leave a voicemail that I can hear and put in an upcoming Q&A episode. Somebody asked, what's SpeakPipe? And I'm like, really? So anyway, you know who you are, dear listener. Okay, if you want to support the show, become a Patreon, KitchensinkWP.com/Patreon. You can sponsor the show, and there's a form on that for the website over at KitchensinkWP.com. Okay, thanks for listening. Have a great, fantastic week. Now go out and do some awesome things with WordPress. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.